Anyway, let's see what other gamer news I have.
Okay, you got it.
Sure.
Oh, but okay.
Microsoft Flight Simulator, we all know the game. It was going to Xbox Series X,
Fires.
right?
Yeah.
It's going on console at last, because it's just a PC game. Well, anyone want to take a stab at how big it is in file size?
200 gigabytes.
Okay, not that big.
150?
Little lower.
130.
It's about 110.
Yeah, I was expecting like Red Dead size.
According to the Game Pass size, it takes out about over 100 gigabytes of data. Keep in mind the PC version takes up 80, but that only takes up 80 after they optimized it from the 160 that it used to be on PC.
Yeah.
Here's the deal.
What do you mean?
The Xbox doesn't have that much space on it.
Yeah, oh god, it doesn't run. The Xbox does it.
So if you have other games installed and you wanted to play the Microsoft Flight Simulator,
that's a no.
I hope you're ready to delete some things.
You can't hurt me if I'm invincible.
If you've got other games, I hope you're ready to delete them. The thing is, I don't know why it takes up so much. If the PC version takes up only 80, your console version should more or less take up the same amount of space. I say more or less because it won't be exact. But that's an extra 20 gigabytes on the console version.
Hurt me more! More! Oh, I'm small again. No, I don't want to be small anymore. I was big. I was big!
But were you?
For a little bit, yes. It was nice while it lasted.
Okay. Gaming.
Around. The end is in sight. I need those. Do I need those? No, I don't.
See what else has happened in the gamer world today.
What is this gaming thingy talk of? Fine. Yeah.
Put spatula down. I forgot my name is Spatula.
What?
I forgot that's your pet's name, right? Because we laughed about this. How could you name your pet Spatula?
There's something wrong with you?
I mean, it was the adopted name. I mean, she did.
What is wrong with the game you were playing?
Oh, Ribisu. Kanazoi Smeed.
What? Oh, that's cool. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, does anyone have anything fun, exciting today?
I'm doing Dominic.
That's not exciting.
It's my stepdad's birthday tomorrow.
That's nice. Would it be awkward if I said happy birthday?
No.
Honest question, okay? Don't laugh.
Can I laugh?
No.
Oh. How about now?
Unicorn or dinosaur?
Unicorn or dinosaur?
What about a unicorn or a dinosaur?
Unicorn.
Well, unicorns are magic, but dinosaurs are real, so...
Dinosaur. I don't know, actually.
It was a stuffed
Also, which
animal, and I
dinosaur?
kept the unicorn because I do believe it had a better skill. But thank you.
There you go.
Unicorn that shoots lasers.
Okay, so,
Oh boy, history time with Tangy.
No!
1984.
Alright.
Y'all got that?
The book
1984.
1984.
The United States passed a certain act.
Oh, shit, it was the
It
80s.
prohibited a group of people from buying a certain thing.
Black
What was
people property.
No.
Damn it. Begin Reagan.
I actually don't know.
I should know. I should know.
Your lucky number is 21.
Alcohol.
Oh, alcohol.
It was the
Right.
National Minimum Drinking Act, or Drinking Age Act, prohibiting under 21 from buying or possessing alcohol as a condition of receiving federal highway funds.
Yep, it's actually super interesting. And it went to court.
Wait, highway funds?
No, okay, I get to nerd out.
Take it
So,
away, dude. I set you up
You're
for
the
it. Go
legal
ahead.
person here, so...
Ahem. So, hold on a second. I messed up my camera and
Long ago, when Law and Order existed. Well, okay, not
So-
then. But
Reagan, being the
Right.
best president he was,
Like,
was like, I really want there to be a national drinking age. But there was no national drinking age. It was up to the states to decide. And actually, a lot of them had 21 as the drinking age. But Reagan was like, no, I really want this to be...
I really want this on my mantle, okay?
Okay, I want it to be 21. And so they're like, how do we get states to have it be 21? You know, do we create a law?
Money.
And he was like, no, because that's not, you know, the federal government doesn't have that power to legislate national drinking age.
That's unconstitutional.
And then they were like, but wait, we can. We are going to pass a law
on the roads, which...
that if you don't, okay, this is not verbatim, but if you don't have the legal drinking age be 21, then you don't get any federal funding for highways. And then
evil.
Every state was like, okay, that's fine, except
you're the one with the money, I guess.
South Dakota, which was like,
for once,
yo,
go South Dakota?
This
feels
is
wrong.
Complete baloney. The federal government cannot do this. They do not have the right to do this. And so it went to the Supreme Court, where I don't actually remember the final vote, but they were like, this is fine because it has to do with commerce. And that's something that the federal government can do. And so then Sandra Day O'Connor, I freaking love Sandra Day O'Connor, was like, in her disagreement, she was not a part of the... Anyway, the federal government was holding a gun to states' heads, saying, "Hey, you need to do this, but we kind of are, because if you don't get federal funding..."
No, it's insurance money, you see. So different, you see.
Don't get, and so she was like, "This is complete baloney." Okay, I see through this lie. Okay, it has nothing to do with state, commerce. It has to do with something that the federal government has no say over. And I freaking love her dissent in that opinion. Because she's like, this is...
You go,
obviously she
champ.
says in a very, very,
formal tone,
yes.
Because you can't be Ingy as the Supreme Court, but I know.
Basically, no, because we talked about this a lot in constitutional law. But I love talking about it because I was like, she basically said this is BS. This is so funny.
You're muscling it in and going, we're not forcing them, they just won't be with food or water or electricity.
It's super interesting.
I mean, you don't need those.
There are a bunch of decisions. But, I mean, the thing is, yes, that maybe not in the right way, but if you look at other court cases, you can say, because there are a couple that deal with segregation where they really, because it's commerce. There's a lot of stuff, a lot of law and federal powers that come from commerce that really don't deal with commerce, but the federal government was able to make it seem like it had to do with commerce, and this was
this totally does, wink wink.
No, there is this one
this one
motel.
Yes.
There's this one motel down south that wouldn't let black people come live, stay in the motel. Yeah. And so then this was after the Civil Rights Act and all of that, and they were like, no, this goes against our right. This actually, I love this one because the attorney for this side, I can't remember the case, but it was so bizarre.
The motel?
The motel, the person, the owner, and the attorney for them who's representing said, oh boy, I want to make sure I get all the amendments. This goes against this because then the government was like, no, we can force you to do this because again, it has to do with commerce because you're on the interstate line, you're by the interstate highway, and so any commerce that deals with commerce and interstate trading, and your federal government has power over interstate trading. And so then, this is so bizarre. So then the guy The attorney goes, no, you can't force this upon me, because this goes against you are violating my 13th Amendment, because you are forcing me to interact with people. You are forcing me to do something that I don't want to do, okay?
You
Again,
are not
verbatim.
put into slave and servitude by human decency.
No, this is against the 5th Amendment, because you're taking away my property without
your rights
due
do not
process.
preside over others.
Without due process.
Oh boy.
And I want to say the 14th Amendment, because again, you are taking away my right to due process.
Oh boy.
I have to find it, because I think there's another amendment that he was saying that this was it's violating my one of my constitutional rights.
Probably like his first or something. It's the giant blanket one these guys go with.
I know.
No, but you are literally breaking several.
No, because I wrote about it again in constitutional law, and
no,
this violates my 13th.
That's so funny. Like he was trying to equivalent his racist policies. To being enforced not to do them as slave and servitude.
Well, I don't want to say he brought a really good point, but he said that I have a right to be prejudiced and be a right to basically be a racist, and the state can't do anything about it. When I say state, I mean government. The government cannot do anything because it is a private matter.
The state has it.
My racism is a private matter that has nothing to do with the federal government, and the federal government was like, no.
No.
You have to
you
do
run a business
I don't
here,
think
sir.
that's
You
how
are
it
affecting
works.
the rights of others.
Because the guy was like, his argument was, I love the 13th Amendment, but the fact that you are making me interact with people, you are making me
that is
you are making
equivalent
me
to
actually
slavery.
have black customers and black people come in my motel. How dare you? But this was another one where the it went to the Supreme Court, and they were like, well, because of commerce, because of commerce, the federal government does have a right to get involved. But then they were also like, none of your rights were violated at all. What are you talking about? Your 13th Amendment right was not violated.
On the other hand, they don't need to have the authority because you're wrong.
Oh my goodness, I just love. There are some cases that are so stupid.
Like,
13th right,
you are not a slave to the man because you have to be nice or face consequences.
They were like, you cannot, because you are making me hire, or not hire, but you are making me let black people stay in my motel. You are violating my 13th Amendment because I do not want to do this work.
13.
I actually have
the 13th Amendment, no slaves, dudes. That was really fucked up. And then whatchamacallit. So that technically translates to, you can't not let me be evil, and I don't like that. No, that's like someone trying to use it. Well, I can own my slave based on the 13th Amendment because, like, forcing me not to have slaves would be a violation of the 13th Amendment. I'm like,
stupid
what?
And yet really funny. Because it was a very important court
I gotta
case,
go.
but it's just so stupid.
I gotta go handle some personal beeswax for a bit, but I'll be back. If you can find the extra amendments you tried to say,
I have to try to remember. I think if I go through my my documents that I have, I think I'll
that is
find
gold. Like, I'm not normally into constitutional law, but that is just gold.
It's whatever I had the ability to write about.
But whatchamacallit, is it I always forget which one it is, but the amendment where it states, like, even if you have a right to something, that doesn't give you the right to deny another?
It was in Atlanta. And this was... Yeah, it was the Civil Rights Act, and it was the Commerce Clause in the Constitution gave Congress power to force private businesses to abide by the Civil Rights Act, which prevented discrimination against public accommodations. And let me see here.
Well, yeah, 'cause this is in the 80s, not the 60s, so this has already been drawn out for them.
Okay, so it was... Okay, so he, yeah, it was a violation of his Fifth Amendment, the right to choose customers and operate his business as he wished, which resulted in unjust deprivation of his property without due process. And then Congress had placed him in a position of involuntary servitude by forcing him to rent available rooms to African Americans, thereby violating his 13th Amendment rights.
You have to open the shop, comrade, and keep working.
And then they also his other point was that government has no part in discrimination because it's a private matter, and that. But
you violated a civil right, and that's a no.
And then racial discrimination by an individual is not prohibited by the 14th Amendment, claiming that discrimination is a private wrong that individuals are allowed to commit.
No, and even if it were a yes, I would still say no. Which is why I'm not in law.
Well, the court was like, that's a bullshit
Baloney.
answer. Like that's so baloney. But the government was like, this business is losing money because they're not allowing blacks to live in it, and that is affecting interstate commerce.
That seems like a personal problem.
The government is losing, but the whole thing of this, the Congress Supreme Court is like, yeah, you're actually right, yeah, and then now that was the racial or businesses can't discriminate, and it's not actually a violation of your 13th Amendment.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness,
yeah.
It was bizarre.
Anyways, I go handle my wackiness.
Yes.
I'll be back.
Okay.
I'm so glad I got to nerd out. I don't even remember the conversation that we were having. You're gaming.
They're still drinking act, because commerce is the loose thread. Commerce. That ties it all together.
Okay, my dude is...
I do have one more history thing for you, Sinky.
Yes.
I'm curious if you can get this one.
Okay.
In 1990. In 1990.
Cancel.
You got it? 1990 is your year.
Hold on a second. Alexa turned to Fox on TV while they're watching something.
Oops.
Anyway,
Oops.
yes, 1980.
1990.
1990, I knew that.
The Minnesota Twins
became
the first team
I know this because it was on my Twitter today. The first and only team to turn 2 triple plays in one game.
That's right, but they still ended up losing that game. They lost 1-0 anyway, but they were the first team. They were the first team to successfully perform two triple plays against the Boston Red Sox.
And I do believe it was almost the exact same triple play, because it was runners on first and second, and that's the best one to. That's really how.
Yeah, that's like the easiest one you can get. That's the easiest one you can get. It has to be hit
directly to the third baseman. But I watched it, and it was weird hearing the announcer because it wasn't Dick, and I'm just so used to hearing Dick, and he was like, "Oh my goodness, wowzers! They did it twice."
The only team, the only team to successfully perform it at the time.
Yeah.
Funny that they still ended up losing, and they didn't just they lost 1-0, so it wasn't like a
it wasn't a blowout. It was just
an unfortunate one run difference.
Yes, but that was great. Okay,
this
so
one's
my
lost
sim is
today, by the way.
childish, and I don't actually like that. I don't like the childish, because then he, like, plays with the toys. And
Well, yes,
the
that's
castle
what
that I
childish
got
means.
wasn't for you, it was for the actual child. The child at heart.
I mean, he is.
Call somebody on the phone. You are calling somebody on the phone. Why won't you die, ma'am?
Rude.
Nancy Landar? Who died? Who's that? A friend apparently passed away. I don't know who it was, though. Oh, it's pixelating. But yes, I'm glad you liked the
It was wonderful.
Never knew I needed that in my life, but no, you are sad because I think one of your sims passed away, and you have to witness the death of a sim. Well,
Well,
I could kill a sim.
no.
See, well, I could kill the childish the sim childish. I can't speak, but he's also the owner of the vet place. And he's the only vet, like, he's level 3, I think, as the vet. Do I get an expansion pack, though? I'm thinking university. Okay, you got to troll the forums.
No trolling. Trolling bad.
Okay, girl, but we gotta fix your outfits.
Dang, Sinky the fashion popos.
Yes, I am a fashion popo. So, my superhero, plot. Okay, you want to hear about it?
Is it ready to be heard about, or would you like to keep working on it before you enlighten me?
No, I think it's pretty much done. Okay, no, the origin story. Because I was like, okay, this was my thought process. So I wrote, okay, it's game 99. Okay, it's special. So I was like, okay, we're gonna have one villain. Okay, maybe villain. I thought about everything except for the hero first. I thought, like, some villains. But then I was like, here, we have to have somebody who was being tested, like he became like a superhuman because of testing, okay? That just has to happen, you know, either by a private military or the government themselves, okay? So he has to be bad, but like, was he really bad, or was he just given, you know, blah, 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 blah. So anyway, I was like, okay, so who the heck is the character? Okay, Kristen? And I was like, how does he get the powers? Well, first of all, what powers does he get? And how does he get them? So I'm like, what are the ways we could become a superhero? I was like, well, we could be bit by somebody. Something, not somebody. Oh my god, I was bitten by you! Bitten by something. And I was like, well, no. Because he's just too close to Spider-Man. Okay? And I was like, could he be born with it? And I was like, no, that's kind of lame. And so I was like, was he injected with some, like, virus or something? You know? And how is that playful spirit? Oh my god. You could become Grandmaster Yoda. Should I have my kid be Yoda?
Yes.
That's actually kind of terrifying. We're gonna see how it is. How it looks. Yeah, that's terrifying. Especially because it's not Yoda's eyes. Anyway, so I was like, I know how it's going to happen. That is too freaking cute. It is going to happen because this is what I have written. Gifted powers by some old lady. Okay? No, you may seem like, what the heck? That's really stupid. Say, Cynthia, that's really stupid. But au contraire, my friend, it is not stupid. Okay, so the player, I have to decide what age this person is because I don't know yet. Okay, so the character, I'm debating whether or not to have it be either gender, but right now I'm using he pronouns, okay? So, the old lady is like, excuse me, young gentleman, can you help me, okay? You know, with X chore or whatever. And the player's like, of course I'll help you. Because I'm a good person. Okay, you see where I'm going? And so then the old lady is like, yo, you know, you're such a great help. Here, have a cookie and then have something to drink, okay? So like house thing, okay? And so it turns out the thing is poisoned, okay? So you pass out. Okay, poisoned is not the right word. But anyway, and so you pass out, and you wake up, and the city takes place in the city, okay, but not New York, okay, but basically New York, okay, we're gonna do that, or Chicago, I don't know what big city it's a ripoff of, okay, but anyway, it's completely destroyed, okay, and you're like, what in the world is going on? And so then this guy appears, okay, this figure, and he's like, what's up? Again, not verbatim, but what's up? Yeah, this is the city, you can tell, it's your city, and it's completely destroyed because this is what's going to happen, okay? If you do not fix this, okay? And I went into so much detail. I wrote the scene out, okay? How is this gonna turn out? But I'm not gonna say word for word, okay? Anyway, so he's like, what in the world? How can I, a measly human being, one person, save the city? Okay, how am I supposed to prevent this destruction to occur? Alright? And the person is like, because I'm going to help you, you silly goose. And so you're like, what? Help me? How are you going to help me? And he's like, I'm going to give you a gift. Okay, and you're like, what in the world? Why gift? Like, what kind of gift is it gonna be? You know, is it something that, like, I can, like, exchange eventually or something like that? Okay, and so then, he's like, what? How? Because then the guy, crazy, then don't get stuck in the cord, dumb cat. Alright, hold on, I was distracted by crazy. And so then, why is Discord up? No, you do not get to step on that one. You do not get to step on that laptop, okay? No. You can step on this one all you want. Okay, step on it all you want. Anyway, okay, so you following along so far. The figure's like, okay, I'm gonna give you some gifts. And you're like, what in the world? But he's like, I'm not gonna give you all the gifts at one time. You have to prove yourself. Okay? And the player's like, how in the world am I supposed to prove myself? And he's like, he being the figure, okay? Again, male, I don't know who it is yet. Okay, anyway, so the figure's like, there are plenty of evil people in the world, okay? And your city's no exception, okay? So you just gotta take care of them. Okay, and you'll be able to take care of them with your powers. With the gift I'm going to give you. Okay?
Alright.
And so then the guy's like, the character's like, how am I supposed to know who the heck is evil? And so then he's like, the figure is like, you'll be able to tell with my gift, okay? Because my gift is super great, okay? You don't want to return this gift. Alright? And then, so then he's like, do you want the gift? You know, like, do you accept the gift? And so the character's like, heck yeah, I want powers. Okay, beware that, like, struggles with these gifts. But it's gonna be pretty awesome, too. Okay, and the character, he's like, do you still...
Alright.
He's basically getting consent multiple times. Okay? Because getting consent is very important.
Consent.
Anyway, so you're like, yeah, of course. Okay, so then, and so then he's like, okay, so then give me your arm. And so, like, he grabs his forearm. He's like, what in the world? The player's like, what in the world is he doing? The figure mumbles something. You have no idea what he mumbled. And then he lets go of your hand. And you're like, well, that was weird. And then you feel excruciating pain in your right forearm. And you're like, oh my god, my arm's on fire! And then you look down and you see, like, there's, like, this, like, burn/tattoo. I don't know what it is yet, okay? I don't even know the design. And you're like, what the heck? There's a mysterious mark on my forearm. And he goes, boom! You have the power now. Congratulations. And you'll be getting more powers eventually,
wow.
okay? As soon as, you know, you prove yourself worthy. Okay, and then he's like, okay, so the figure is like, alright, so, that was a great gift. Hope you enjoy it. I'll be watching from the shadows. And we'll talk again soon. Okay? And then the player passes out again and wakes up because he lives on his, I think he's going to be post-college or college dropout. I don't know yet. Okay? He's super smart though, okay? And so he's like, he passes out and then he wakes up on his couch in his studio apartment. And he's like, well, that was the weirdest dream I ever had. And then he looks at his arm and he's like, pshaw, that was a dream because there's no mark. Wow, that was a weird dream. And then he's like, oh my goodness, there's a mark on my left arm. What the heck? It was real, okay? And so then he's like, okay, I have got to get out of here. Okay, so he goes to his door to leave the apartment. And he opens the door and gasp. There's the old lady. And he's like, what in the world is going on? And so she goes, here, visit this place, okay? You'll just visit this this place that, she hands you paper and there's an address listed. So you're like, fine, I'll go to this place. And it's an abandoned warehouse for you to practice your powers. Okay, I really thought this through. Okay? And so he's like, well, how do I don't know what powers I have. How do I determine like what powers I have? And so he's like, fine, what can I have? And so let me mark. Alright, so you have obviously knees of steel, okay? I actually wrote knees of steel. But how do you test that? Well, actually no, first you tested you punch a wall to determine if you have super strength or not. Okay, and you're like, push up! I punched the wall and my hand is not broken. Obviously I have strength. And then you can also fly. Okay, and you can climb walls, but you're super good at parkour, so this, you just, like, have enhanced parkour, okay? And so then you get to the top of the warehouse, the abandoned warehouse, and you're like, well, we'll just see if we fly, okay? So you jump off and you can fly. And then you can land, and you landed, and you didn't break your knees, so you have knees of steel, okay? You following along? And so then you're like, well, I have to test out this, you'll eventually get more powers as I said, okay? And then you're like, well, how do I how do I become this hero that I need to be, okay? And so you're like, well, I'm gonna go beat up some bad people. And so you're like, well, I can't like go without like a disguise. So you wear like a really cheap mask, okay? And so then you go down to downtown to like this dark alley where this person is being mugged, okay, by like 4 people. And you're like, stop, 'tis I! Some superhero name with Man of Steel. Knees of Steel! Okay? And they're like, what in the world is this? This is like some, like, what's with your crappy outfit? Okay? It's stupid. And they really pound you. They really hurt your feelings. Okay? They're like, you're stupid. You have a stupid outfit. And you're like, what? You didn't need to say it like that. And so then you beat them up and you're like, oh my goodness, I do have these powers. Wow, that's so cool. It is so cool to have these powers. And you're like, haha, I am going to be great. And that's when you determine to be a hero. How does that sound? Does that not sound like a
perfect,
great
actually.
Superhero?
That's good. That's good. That's good. That's a good start. That's a good start.
But I had to, last night, because I came up with this last night. I came up with some of it. And you can actually sometimes tell with my writing how sleepy I was. Because especially when I'm in school taking notes, because you can see that it becomes very, very not nice handwriting, and then it just stops for a little bit. You know that, oh, Cynthia's fallen asleep. And so this was me last night. I was writing this all down, and I was like, okay, I gotta figure out, like, what are some superhero, like, the thing is, cause I don't want this to be a story, I want this to be a video game, so I was like, okay, well, personally, I think Superman is super boring, because he has, like, these all powers, so I was like, okay, I don't want it to be that powerful, but what are some, like, realistic powers that you could do that isn't related to Spider-Man? And so I was like, well, we can't have it be X, Y, or Z, you know. And so then I was like, but, you know, it's fun. This is fun. And so then I Googled cool superpowers. And so then there was this list of there's this Wikipedia page, not Wikipedia, but basically Wikipedia, of just, like, 100 powers or so. And I was just going through the list, and I was like, okay, so, invisibility, that would be a cool power. Enhanced physical skills, oh yeah, that's a cool power. And so I was just scrolling through the list, and I was like, yeah, I'm too tired, we'll do this tomorrow. So I saved it, and then this morning I was writing down, or not this morning, this afternoon, I was just going through the list, I was like, oh, that's a really cool power. Mind manipulation, yeah, that's cool. Hypnosis, yeah. Enhanced vision, but I'll show you the website, because it was just like a boatload of stuff. Somebody had too much time on their hands, but it was so great. Yeah, and so then I was like, coming up with the story, like, necromancy. Somebody's gonna be a necromancer, okay? There has to be somebody. You can't have a power and not be necromancy, okay? And I'm like, somebody's gonna be able to turn into an animal or some sort, obviously, okay? Yeah, so and that all occurred in like a 2-hour span. I was like, this origin story is super good. I was really proud of myself. Yeah, so there's the origin story to a superhero that I still don't have a name of, but I have the origin story. But yeah, because I was like, how do superheroes get their powers? You know, well, I can't have it be bit, especially, well, not like by like an insect or whatever, you know. Like, no, we can't have that. So I was like, gift by an old lady. That's the way to go. Yeah, how did you get your, because then the hero is like a super sarcastic, and he's like, he monologues, so he's like, you may be wondering how I got this my powers, blah, 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 blah. Well, I got it from an old lady. Well, sort of an old lady. My hero story started because I helped out an old lady. who then drugged me.
I mean, it's wonderful.
Yeah, I know it is. Yeah, so it's 6 pages of my notebook. Most stories don't get 6 pages. The other story that got, I don't actually think very few of my, I think my Victorian London Monster Hunter got a few. My zombie story got a few pages. And then the other one who got 6 pages was my revenge story, where this masked vigilante, this is, most of my stories, I actually have the 7 deadly sins written out on my, my first page. I was like, 7 deadly sins, and then the 7 contrary virtues that you don't hear about. And I was like, I'm going to create a game where there are 7 villains, but there are also 7 good people. Because you never talk about, well, you hear about the 7 deadly sins, but you don't hear about the 7 virtues. And I was like, my character, this is gonna be great. You want to hear about my vigilante story?
Sure, go
that
ahead.
I took too much time. I don't usually get to tell anyone about these. Because I'm
Go
like,
ahead,
these are really
dude. Go
stupid.
ham. I am listening.
One of these days, Krista, I'm just gonna go through my list, my 99 stories, and just go through them with you. Because they're so great. Well, some of them are trash. But some of them are really great. Anyway. Okay, so let me get to my... Okay, so... this is game number 81. The working title is 7. Okay? It's a work in progress, okay? So, the main story, the main thingy-mabobber, is a masked vigilante tries to take down those who wronged him and others. Okay? Those who wronged him are the government and other high-standing targets, okay? The targets represent the 7 deadly sins. The 7 deadly sins wasn't actually this was not what I was... Because I was like, okay, there's gonna be like 5 people who have wronged him and others, have hurt or killed people. I was like, there are gonna be 5 people, and those are gonna be the targets that you have to take out. And I was like, why settle for 5? Why have like 7? And I was like, boom! 7's the lucky number. 7 deadly sins. So then I was like, all the people are gonna be about the 7 deadly sins. So anyway, so you're like, well, Cynthia, how can you fit your favorite philosopher into this story?
Oh, no.
And
How?
Kristen, let me tell you. Okay, so the ending is before you embark on the road, before like the game starts, the quote, there's going to be a quote by Confucius. I don't actually know the real quote. I should actually write it down. Before you embark on a journey of revenge, dig 2 graves. And so the dude, because I don't come up with names, obviously. Very few stories get names. Characters get names. So dude, main character dude, goes out like a badass, but dies. Either because his death comes at the hands of because of his own revenge, or because he was trying to sacrifice himself for others. Okay, I haven't gotten that far into character development, so I don't actually know where his character will go. But anyway, so he's going to die. Okay, because revenge is never a great way to go out. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. Because before you embark on the journey of revenge, dig 2 graves. Okay, Kristen, you following so far?
Yeah.
There are 7 villains that represent the 7 deadly sins. Okay? And then I write, because the way I write is I write it all out, and then I'm like, wait, no, let's do something else. So like under that, I'll take a photo of it so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay. Or there's only 6 deadly sins. There's only 6 villains, and the character represents wrath. Okay, the player represents wrath. And I was like, oh, that's super good too! And so then, to counter this, the 7 deadly sins, to counter the 7 mean characters, because not all the characters are necessarily evil, but they represent a sin. Okay? To counter this, we have 7 heroes that represent the virtues, except some, we'll get through the what are the virtues and the sins. But we'll go through that later. And then the second main character is the opposite of the vigilante, because this is like there aren't 7 villains, okay? There are 6 villains, okay? And they represent the 7 deadly sins, and the wrath, the 7th sin, is the character. So the other main character in this story represents the opposite of wrath, which is, hold on a second, which is patience and forgiveness, okay? So so that's the second main character, okay? Because there's 2 main characters, right? Wrath and patience, okay? But then, okay, so you're like, Cynthia, when does this take place? I actually have no idea when this takes place, okay? Because I have the weapons. You know, what are the weapons? I have written down what weapons though. Okay, it's very casual in my notebook. I was like, one shot pistols, like boom, you have to reload, and then grenades and swords. Is it going to be a steampunk? And like where there are robots? Sort of like that Dishonored vibes, but not Dishonored, but like that time period? Or is it going to be modern day? But I was like, okay, we'll deal with that later. And so then I was like, let's just comb out who are the villains and who are the heroes. So, the 7 deadly sins are greed, gluttony, lust, envy, sloth, and wrath. Wait, and pride, okay? And then the 7 virtues, which is super hard to create characters based off of, is humility, kindness, abstinence, chastity, patience, liberality, and diligence. I have no idea how I'm going to fit abstinence and chastity in it, but we will make it work. Okay?
Yeah.
So we have so 6 villains represent greed, gluttony, lust, envy, sloth, and pride. Okay? The main baddie, hold on a second. Well, I had it written out, but I have it crossed down. Okay, so the leader of government is going to be pride, I think? And the second in command is envy. Okay, now there's a scene between gluttony, envy. The way envy goes out, he's like, well, I want what the top of the head of government has, and I want that. Okay, but we'll get to that later. Okay, so then you may be asking yourself, Cynthia, what is it that makes the vigilante become a vigilante? Because that's the name of his character right now, is Vigilante. Okay? Vigilante. So you may be asking yourself, Cynthia, what, why? Who, what, when, where, and why? Oh my god, that's an adorable shirt. Well, I am so glad you asked that quick question, Kristen. Because I have an answer for you. Ooh, that's nice. Actually, I like that outfit. That's cool. Okay. So I'm like trying to plan my Sims outfits because they were trash. Okay. The 6 people, the 6 villains are in a group that wants power. Okay? To get this power, okay, you got, okay, I don't know when I wrote this, but this was like at a one brain, like this was a 1 session writing, because it was all written in purple. That's how I know. The first one was written in black, so that was 1 session. Purple writing was another session, and then I have it written in red too. Okay, so so to get this power that they so crave, they create an army that overthrows the government. Okay, you with me so far?
Mm-hmm.
All right, the army kills thousands of people who are innocent. Who are not innocent. They kill people who are not innocent, like criminals and bad dudes. Okay? Chaos ensues! Then the group okay, so here's what happens. Okay, so the group is like, okay, we're gonna hire a bunch of people to overtake the government. Okay, so we're gonna hire a bunch of thugs who are creating chaos, and we are going to come in because the government can't take care of it. We are going to come in and take care of it ourselves. We're going to say, look at this, people. We saved you, not the government. Whoop-de-doo-da-day. So trust us and not the government, okay? So that's basically what's happening, okay? So then they support, they get the support of the people, because they're like, oh my god, you saved us, hooray! We want you to become the government instead. Alright, so then, alright, so they the criminals and bad people, the army kills thousands and millions of people, okay? So some of them are paid, some of them are promised riches and power. The government's like, or not the government, the people who want the group are like, you will get riches and power. Yeah, you'll get them, yeah. And so, 15 years before this happens, okay, the group, still, before the war happens, 15 years earlier, they're like, okay, we're gonna kidnap a bunch of boys, and we're gonna train them. Well, okay, mostly boys. Catholic's like, just boys? Okay. Kidnaps people, and they're going to train them to be the best fighters. And train to be part of the army and train them, to be killers. Okay, so that's what they're doing. So, the vigilante is a boy from a faraway land. I wrote faraway land, who was kidnapped and trained under the group. Okay, but he was really good. Okay, and he is selected to be a part of the army, which invades the country and kills a bunch of people. Okay. All right. And then. The army, so there are some people who are like, why are we killing these people? And so the group was like, these people are the reason you were taken from your home. Okay, at least I think that's what I was going with. Alright? And so then, after killing a whole bunch of people, the vigilante comes across a town in which young woman fights back. Okay? Alright? Okay, stick with me. Okay? I actually don't know who the vigilante is right now, so I have to try to remember who he was. But anyway, so then, the vigilante comes across a town where a woman fights back, and this woman who fights back is the vigilante's sister. Okay? And she's like, OMG! Vigilante, I recognize you, even though, because he's, it's kind of like in Prince of Egypt, where her sister realizes that he's Moses, okay? You know the scene I'm talking about, like, oh my goodness, I recognize you, and he's like, who are you? Okay, so that's kind of the scene. And so then, so she's like, yo, where have you been the past 15 or so years, okay? And so then he's like, and she's like, why are you killing these people? Why are you killing